Now that we have created few test cases, let's go ahead and learn how to search for test cases and how we can execute them in ZeuZ. Additionally, we'll see how, once the execution is done, how we can actually see the logs and view all the other details of that session. So to do that, let's start with the testing menu here, and then I'll go to search. Once I go to search, this will display me all the test cases I have in this project. I have a lot of test cases, but I applied the folder called demo app. In order to utilize our search, there are many different options. So these are all the different categories that you see. So you can search for set, you can search for the bugs linked to it, feature, mobile platforms, and so on. In my case, I have searched at folder. So if I type in at folder, then I'll see only the folders that I have, and I can search for that as well. So if I go at folder equal to demo, then these are different options I have for under matching demo. So here I'm selecting demo folder. Okay, so as you can see, it's only showing me all the folders that has the demo. In this case, let's say I'm also looking for our first test case, this one here. This is the one I want to run, and you can also extend that. So these are status is if I type at status, so then I can see the ready one. So if I apply this filter, now I will see that I only have 2 test cases that are ready, and so on. So you can build your own query in advanced search option. So let's go ahead and move into the actual test cases. Go to the edit view of the test case. So from here, there are 2 ways we can run the test case. One is to deploy the individual test case, or another one is to go through the testing and run test case. They will both end up on the same page. So in this scenario, I'm going to manually go to the test case under run. So once I click on that, then I can see that I have selected these test cases already. So anything I've done already, it will automatically select it for me from the last run that I ran. And additionally, I'll have my tester that's assigned, so you'll have to fill up all this information. So in this case, I'm just going to select anything here for now. And run objective, I can just type in anything. If I don't have it, it will automatically create them. So I'll select the demo app. And then on my next column is the dependency. It's basically what I selected in the test case. So when I created this test case, I selected I want to be able to run it on Chrome, Firefox, or Safari. So let's go ahead and view it one more time so that we can relate that information. So as you can see, I have selected these ones. So let's assume for a second I want to be able to run it on Chrome headless as well. So I can select that. And now if I just close this and refresh this page one more time, I will actually see Chrome headless appear here as well now for the same test case. So now I'm going to select again one more time anything, and now I'm going to select in Chrome to run this test case. And assuming that you have gone through the installation for ZeuZ Node, and when you enter your username, password, and project and team, it will also appear in this drop down as well. And whoever puts their node available online, you will see it here as well. So in this case, I'm going to select my node. And that's pretty much it of how to run it. And if you have, let's say, different types of test session, test set, you can also search it here. So as an example, I can say at set equal to, then it will show me all the test sets. Or let's say if you remember different parameters or labels or anything like that, tags, you can search for those as well. So just one more time, whenever you're searching on our search field, if you don't remember anything, you can just type in the word of the test case, and it will show you the test cases and anything that matches that those words. And if you want to see a group or categories, then you have to just simply type in @ symbol, and then you can select any of these. And as you can see, there are many different options. So if I select browser, then it will basically give me what are the test cases I've selected as a browser, Chrome. So I can now select, let's say, Chrome browser. I'll now get a bunch of test cases around that's using Chrome browser, capable of running on Chrome browser. Okay, so I'm going to type our test case name, our first test case. As you can see, it came up here. So I'll just need to click on it. And now I can see all my options again, and my test case is showing up below. So I'll select Chrome and deploy. So I'll notice that as soon as I click on deploy, the test case now started executing. It should now launch the browser, and if I'm using a different machine, I can actually view my progress live from a different machine that is not running the test session. So imagine this to be a lab. It will actually automatically execute it on the lab while you can remotely review and understand what's happening with your session. So now the test case is done. And then in this scenario, we will not have any log files like you've seen in some of our demo. The reason is when the test case failed, I selected here in my setting options that not to upload log during run. So if I go back to my run page, I'll show you that advanced settings quickly. So these are various different settings. We'll go through them on an advanced course, another video. But here, screenshots is enabled, only upload log files, only on fail is enabled. So when it fails, then it will only upload the log. All right, so to review all our current execution that's happening, we'll go to testing and history. So that's basically what's happening in all our execution. So I'm now going to select my run ID. That is basically how you define a unique way of your session that's running. So let's go ahead and go inside the session. So there are many other features. I'll just click on the quick snap view of the report. So when you click on that, it will also come up with a summary of your test cases. If something failed, it will give you the report here as well. And if you have Jira integration, it will also show up some Jira summary here as well. So I'm going to go into the run ID, and now basically it's displaying me the session and all the test cases that are under that. Obviously in this case, I only have one test case. So by clicking on the test case, it will expand the steps, or step in this case, and I can now click on, it will also display you the duration and the memory consumption by this step. So in this case, it consumed because it was launching a browser applications and so on. So when I click on this, another window will slide out that will display you all the logs. So these are each actions that we added. So this is the initial log for the actual data for the test step. And then these are individual actions that we added. So this was go to link action, and then it will show you what happened. And then action set number 2, we entered the text for ZeuZ test, and so on. Now, if our test case failed, we would be able to click on this log file button. It will download the images and screen captures for all the steps, and you can then view them as well later time. Now, imagine for a second that this is a manual test case. I can also execute them manually, or even if it's an automated test case, it failed, but you know it's supposed to pass, so you can drop down and select pass from here as well. We'll go through all these other different details in a different session, more advanced session. But again, these are all various different things you can try out to see how they work. Now, assume for a second that we ran 50 test cases and 10 of them failed. We want to do a rerun of these test cases. You can simply go to the rerun options, and then you can select, you can just select on failed test cases or block test cases and select to rerun. In our case, obviously, we only have one test case that's passing, so we just have to select that. And if I click on select all, I click on submit, this will start the run.